Ooh, for Tuesday, and it's trying to rain and yucky outside. Well, it's damp and wet and crappy. Good morning, everybody. God bless you, man. I am telling you. Woo! Yeah, lots of, well, crazy stupid, Monday hangovers. All right, let me check. We got Rev Radio all lined up, all on the hook. Never Sleeps bumpers are rolling now. Man, I don't know what to start off. Well, I do know what to start off with. I just didn't want to go there that early. Because once you go to once you go to this one story, it's, hell no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I'm laughing at these fucking retards in the oh god, in the marketing industries. Who isn't there, who in their right fucking mind, okay? Um During LGBTQ month. Yes, I didn't know that they were running specials and oh my god. Yeah, hell no fresh. You see that company advertising is Hello Fresh, it's called, right? Hello Fresh. Hello Fresh. Yeah. They deliver fresh foods to your house, right? Well, I guess they kind of lean lettucey, lean lefty, okay? Lean vegan cleanse. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just like, what in the fuck is wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with idiots? Okay, I'm just saying, idiots around this world. Okay, let's see, all kinds of stories popping here. Um, I was looking at this one story and I was like, what what the fuck did I just read? Well, there's another story that's not too fucking far out there. Okay, the intro started. We got 1 minute till we go live on Rev Radio. I was kind of trying to drag this Hello Fresh story out. Okay, what you know? Listen, if you're running an advertising campaign during gay and lesbian, tranny, whatever, butt fucking month, okay? Listen, you don't run a fucking, hey, we'll send you a colon cleanse box so you can butt fuck better. It's like, who, what company in the fucking world that wants to market to most Americans, okay? What fucking company in the world, okay, would have a marketing campaign where they want to sell you fruits and vegetables that will clean your colon out because it's gay and lesbian month. I'm like, somebody's got a fucking problem. I'm sorry. Rev Radio. Hey, Rev Radio. Good morning, man. You're just missing the colon cleanse. Hello, fresh marketing campaign. That's right. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. What the hell? That's like going full Bud Light, isn't it? When you advertise, well, I'll send fresh foods to your house. So because it's gay and lesbian month, so you can, well, clean your colon out so you can have better bungholing. Well, imagine that. I mean, I guess we know which way that company door swings, and it's another reason why it's kind of on life support. Maybe it was trying to develop itself as a niche company. He was gonna hit right in the crack of it, man. I am telling you, they are gonna clean up somewhere along the line if they partnered with Depends. Man, I'm telling you, no matter how far, telling how far they could go, to send the colon cleanse box, and hey, might as well send the Depends too, because well, just remember, if it's got enough force behind it, those Depends actually like well, let's just say escape valves, blow off steam valve. I would be laughing so hard, but I fucking have seen it. I have fucking experienced it. I am not kidding. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, starting off with a shitty story, but hell no fresh. That's my response to Hello Fresh's marketing campaign to clean out your colon during gay and lesbian trans month. It's like, and then in the article I was looking at on zerohedge.com, I was like, oh my fucking God. They got like this little Chewbacca guy. One of those little rebels with the spears. It's like, oh God. Hopefully they're not using him like that poor little alien like a gerbil or something. Ah! God, vulching episode gone wrong. What the hell? Hey, meanwhile, Donald Trump. Well, you have to understand right now, the Trump administration isn't really that far. Isn't that far from a bunch of crazy bungholers? Well, I'm sorry. Somebody has to say it. I guess I can. Meanwhile, as evidenced by this show, 4 in 10 Americans report having mental health problems. The problem is, most of the people that have the mental health problems say, I don't have no mental health problems. It's the same people that say, man, I have never done anything wrong. Why would I need to pray and ask for forgiveness? It's like, it's fucking mind boggling. I mean, you got sores this big on your ass and you don't want to go to the doctor. Oh, no. I can take care of it at home. I got, it's like, oh, God, give me patience. What in the fuck? Patience. No, patience as I have to have patience. Not that everybody is a fucking patient. Oh my God, yeah. Anyway, so right now, what we do more than understand that the law of averages. There's a lot of people in the Trump administration that have mental health problems. We'll start right at the top with the Mr. Ego Man. But anyway, yeah, statistic is Valentine Thoreau notes the pandemic, which left many people feeling isolated and powerless and overwhelmed, accelerated that trend. That's right, it did. It was intended to. It was the great reset. It was the breaking of the back of the spirit of the people that should learn to stand up and say, fuck you. Yeah, I can imagine, can imagine that happening, right? Um, yeah, me, yeah, I can see that. Um, but right now, everybody, should get fuck the government syndrome. Okay, hey, stop. No, Bob, don't start. Whatever you guys are doing, don't chase no cats. I don't know what all's going down. Don't chase no cats. So yeah. Come on, baby, get under here. Get under there. Man, a cat run under the door yesterday. Come under the door, all the way around. The big white dog sleeping right here. Runs right past the white dog, then behind the desk. Another one under the bed last night. Man, I'll tell you what, these dogs are just loving. Just loving it, I guess. I didn't know if anybody was knocking. Could have been, but that's usually the only time the dogs will say or do something. But maybe they have a therapy session for Sharon at 8 o'clock. Oh my God, she'll tell them to get the fuck away. So I guess that's how it is with 4 in 10 Americans, having mental illness. Yeah, I got military grade tinnitus. That's the loudest thing I hear 24 hours a day. But and it does put some stress. It takes a lot of energy just to combat it, and pretty much you just got to throw it all out there and say fuck it all, man. Let's just fuck it all. Anyway, so as evidenced this weekend, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez said, "Wow, hey, look, it's Flippy. God bless you, man." Yeah, me too. God bless, man. What the fuck is wrong with people? So yeah, and just for all you folks out there, here you go.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City. We are not the outlandish ones, New York City. They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
Right. Sure. You're sane. Yeah, sure. What a absolute sad joke that politics in America has become when Julie the bartender is essentially one of the leaders of the Democrat Party. But then again, after Nancy Pelosi has run out of vodka, you got to remember who's serving the vodka. Julie the bartender. So, yeah. And you be good. Hey, you be good, dog. His lead's not as long as you chewed the end off of it, so now he's on a short lead. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Evidence now coming out that Google met with European Union officials about censorship and hate speech and disinformation. Data provided in a German government response to a parliamentary question on online censorship shows that Google met with top German government officials dozens of times in early 2022 and the spring of 2024 to discuss suppression of online hate speech and disinformation. Do you notice that they did it at the very end of whatever this COVID scam-demic, this worldwide fraud that pushed essentially, many people into poverty. I'll say it. And they own nothing, and they fucking hate it. And now the fucking powers that should not be are trying to figure out a way to wipe the rest of us out. Man, I am telling you, I really, just pisses me to fuck off. Okay. Major online platforms and search engines like X, Facebook, TikTok, Google are required to take measures and suppress illegal hate speech, illegal per standard of European laws, and allegedly harmful disinformation under the EU's Digital Services Act. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Look, it's all about brainwashing and control. These fucking psychopathic government leaders do not have the truth in mind. They are not planning on some honest revelations. Why? because the European Union would be fucking shuttered. It would be shut down if the European people knew and understood that it's just a control mechanism, the enslavement of Europe, and now the destruction, the deconstruction of Europe. Okay? Suicidal Empathy. It's a book out there. You'll get to read it. Check it out. By Gad Sad Gad. Um, really helps lay it out where, look, people have to suffer their own consequences of their own fucking retarded shit, okay? And that includes the fucking retarded people that live in the desert, maybe in Eastern Africa, like Somalia, that live in the fucking desert, and they have their survival plan is pump out so many kids that you can't feed them all to start with, but those kids can gather food, and for the so then for somebody else to live, and basically born into slavery, into servitude. That's the tribal cultures of this world, and whether you think about it, whether you know it, whether you realize it or not. It is, I guess it would be heresy when you look at what people are doing today and 100 years ago, and the things that we have, the things that are accepted as the norm. Everybody would be considered, some kind of liberal bastard that need to be put to death. Whether you're talking on a magic box to somebody else with a voice, or you got voices coming out of your fucking head from Bluetooth. It is madness. It is madness when you think about the world that we live in. And, we have to look at the politics of what we're supposed to believe in this world. When the United States and the Kraken America motherfuckers, along with the fucking Mossad, along with the fucking German intelligence and the EU's intelligence arms, that and the Brits, that we literally overthrew the Ukrainian government and installed a puppet government that was friendly to the West. And after not once but twice, after 3 or 4 elections, the Minsk I agreement was signed, and the Ukrainians said, "Fuck you, we're going to slaughter every Russian thing or whatever thing we perceive, whatever." Minsk II was signed, and after that, Germany just laughed. Angela Merkel laughed and said, "You dumb fucks. Those were delay tactics, that's all. So we could build up the army so we could stand against you. So we could learn to coordinate and have real military, shit going down." Now, doggies, baby, what are you doing? Cat didn't already come in, go behind that fucking panel there, did they? Hmm? Anyway, so yeah. The Germans lied. The Americans then attempted another color revolution in Kazakhstan after the American negotiator Victoria Nuland, and the Biden administration led people to believe that no, it wasn't going to happen. It's all okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, the truth is, Victoria Nuland, should be held up for, trial for international war crimes, in all honesty. Okay. Donald Trump is, I don't, he's so caught up in the ego boosting system that he's in, he just can't stop. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying. Uh, so word is kind of spreading a little bit about that Russian and Ukrainian thing I talked about yesterday. And you should understand that there's going to be a major escalation, which also means there's a higher chance of false flags happening. So that's a problem. Anyway, oh my God, man. At least I don't order from Hello Fresh. Chokes y'all up and everything, you know. Pro EU ruling party wins in Armenia election in a landslide. Really? Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah. Anyway, so that's going down. Also, there are discussions already about the next major war for Israel in the Middle East. Now that Iran is somewhat neutralized and sidelined, okay, um, Israel is now trying to destabilize and is going to attack Turkey. I don't know if you have to understand Turkey, half of Syria, is whether people want to admit it or not, is essentially a satellite state of Turkey and has been for decades, as where the insurgency came from in Aleppo and other places. So I would be aware of that. Okay. Yep. Socialism wins, I guess you could say. Yeah. I guess last night Donald Trump went to see the New York Knicks play. And evidently, it was pretty loud. It was anyway. So Jack Settleman posted this on his Rumble account, or his excuse me, his X account, and evidently, the people weren't that thrilled to see the Don. I guess that was Trump on the big screen there in the middle, and then everybody booed when they saw that. Yeah, that's a sad thing. Now, I guess the Knicks lost, so everybody is blaming that on Trump. The other part, the other part of that is they blame Don. It's a Trump curse, and that he allegedly slept through the game. I mean, that just seems a little, seems a little off. So yeah. Um, Anyway, dun 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 dun. Disgrace to our city. San Antonio Spurs defeated the Knicks in Game 3. Knicks leading 2-1. So yeah, um, Trump had fallen asleep at the game. Evidently, there's a video. Yeah, he looks like he's. Yeah, I'm watching the video. He looks like he's sleeping like fucking like a baby, and all that noise. Anyway, meanwhile, earthquake in the Caribbean, strongest earthquake in nearly 150 years, hits off of Cuba, shakes Florida and Mexico. Havana, Cancun, June the 8th, a strong earthquake struck, depth 16 miles, 104 kilometers west northwest of Manitoba, Cuba. About 2 to 4 hours by car from Havana. So anyway, there is an earthquake. Oh my God! Hey, at least nobody said it was some kind of war going on the bottom of the ocean there yet. I mean, that hasn't leaked out, has it? The war in L.A. is over. That's right. Two socialists running for the office of mayor with Karen Bass and Nithya Raman advances to the runoff as Spencer Pratt, the only conservative in the bunch, is kicked to the curb. There shouldn't be a runoff election. I'm sorry, there should not be. What that tells you is that everything that the city does, everything that is in the administration in the LA government is not subject to the rule of law, is not subject to fairness and equality and things that are written out in processes and manuals. So yeah, I see the cat's got something he's playing with going under the door. That's what got the dog's attention. Ah, man. So, no candidate earned more than 50% of the vote. The top two finishers go to a runoff this fall. See, and that's wrong. That is just fucking wrong. That's mob rule. That's not democracy. A democracy is where everybody follows a set of standards and rules of laws. Even if the person wins, there's five candidates and the person that wins with 25%. The administration of government should not be up to the petty bureaucratic wills of like what we see happening here in Virginia, where Virginia has just become just a fucking another vagina for the Democrats to rape and pillage and plunder. Oh man, I have to laugh. I don't know what people expected, from a CIA agent, analyst agent turned a politician. Okay, if you don't know to expect lies and deception, then I don't know how to fucking help somebody. Okay. And you can't. The truth is, you can't. You have to prepare yourself. You have to get your own head straight and worry about what you're doing and look out. As it may sound selfish, but you have to look out for number one for a certain point. Because if you don't, you're going to be stepping in number two. You're going to be stepping in that shit quick because, well, you didn't look after yourself. And that has different ideas, I guess, different areas. But wow, it's crazy. Don't expect Democrats to how should I say it, to run a country and have it free and prosperous. You will be free and prosperous as long as your speech is approved by liberals and Democrats. Okay. As long as you have approved speech, as long as you have approved thought, as long as you think like that hive mind that's running City Hall, you'll get along good. You won't be targeted. But everybody knows what happens when you color outside the lines, so to speak. So yeah, what else we got going on here? Dun, 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 dun. Tiny insect decimated Florida's citrus fruit. The state's Sunshine's citrus farmers are holding on after a 95% industry decline in the last 30 years. Wow, that's quite a rot, isn't it? 95%. Um, that's not even really worth talking about, but we'll mention it here in a minute. This other story, but yeah. So his one guy, Sidney Tillett, his I guess his trees started to have a problem. Plus, mesh bags tied to stakes on the ground, on saplings. But anyway, I guess the an invasive insect has decimated the orange trees in Florida. So yeah, that's that's unfortunate, and they should have some way to take care of it, but I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that people will have to adjust, I guess. Like I said, I wasn't going to talk about it much, but hey, we need to talk about it. Eyewitness testimony undercuts this self-defense claim of Austin Metcalf killing. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed Metcalf in the chest once. After being told a number of times to leave the tent, he essentially taunted violence. Um, they're trying to claim that this fucking kid, um, that this kid was stabbed in self defense. He stabbed in self defense. See, he did. Okay, he didn't. His family's. Listen, a bunch of racist griftins shitbags. That's how I look at it. Okay. One 17-year-old athlete testified that Anthony did not appear to be acting in self-defense. Another one said, "Hey, somebody invited him over here, and then he couldn't explain why. Well, he pulled a knife out and stabbed the guy in the chest." Okay, yeah. So it clearly is, somebody, somebody, I want to say somebody that is a bully looking for trouble. And now it's my understanding that multiple kids that testified were black. It's not like all pasty white kids and this one black kid. Okay. That's my not my that's my understanding that there was it was a mixed crowd of mixed kids, whites and blacks together, not just one black kid and all the white kids. And when the families out here protesting, and then they draw nut jobs that essentially screaming, killing crackers and everything else. You're kind of losing credibility when you're asking for $1.2 million in a GoFundMe, and all the money you raised before you run out and bought a house and cars, and it's not like you were using it to defend for your son. Witnesses further allege that Anthony taunted the students, saying, "Y'all a bunch of pussies. Y'all not going to do anything. Touch me and see what happens." That's a typical bully taunt right there. Okay. I'm just saying. I guess it's a good thing he didn't have a gun. Maybe he'd have pulled a gun out and shot him. Instead of one stab, ruined, you have 4 or 5 kids shot. I'm just saying, it's fucking no class, low class for the black community to stand there and defend this fucking kid because he's 100% wrong. And here's the other part of that. If that is the attitude of the black community, then they have a hard fucking road ahead because it's essentially they're embracing racist violence. That's what we see coming from many in the black community today. Okay, it's madness. Just like the other week, the woman was got out of her car and come in and was fighting with the people in the I don't know if it was a Jack in the Box. It was some restaurant, and Jack Hortons, I think, is what it was. And she ended up she's fighting them, and she ended up dying. She had a heart condition. Families, blaming her, but this woman did that all the time. Where she got out, she went up, she believed that she had the right to lay her fucking hands on people. Okay, and listen, you don't. No matter how fucking upset you are, no matter how pissed you are, you don't really have the right to lay your hands on other people in self-defense. How's that sound? That's how I look at it. I guess that's why I watch John Carrera at Active Self Protection, and watch some of their videos, and they talk about these instances where you might be in a convenience store and somebody pulls a gun. You might be in a mall, somebody pulls a gun and starts shooting. And whether you're packing, whether you're carrying or not, if you're carrying, when can you get an opportunity to get a drop on the guy with the gun? All kinds of things to think about when you're out in public and you decide to take I don't want to say the law into your own hands, but somebody's self-protection into your own hands. Okay, self-defense, man, can be really messy, particularly if it's a domestic dispute, because then often the woman jumps on you trying to help her as you're defending against her old man that was beating on her a minute ago. Idiots all around. Okay. Xi Jinping applauds Kim's socialist cause. That's right. North Korea, to making sure that the world knows and defines itself as a nuclear power. And that the truth is that the North Korean economy has been so depressed, has been so bad, that it has so much room to grow. And it has grown. It has been one of the biggest movers in economies in the whole entire world is North Korea. Yeah, imagine that. But always remember, the biggest fear that China has is that North Korea and South Korea will unite. And because of the natural resources in the North and the industrial capacity of the South, and then that added industrial capacity for North Korea and the retooling, rebuilding of entire factories, and more modern technology, that a united Koreas, North and South, would rival the economic power of China and the United States. It would become a super industrial power. That's one of the reasons why China is keeping North Korea kind of segregated. from the rest of the world. I know that might sound strange, but that's probably the primary reason. A competitor, once their industrial capacity is unleashed, we have to understand that's what the United States is doing halfway around the world most of the time. It's taken out the industrial capacity, independent capacity of Maduro and the Venezuelan oil, which is now under what? Under protection flag of the U.S. An Iranian an Indian based ship tanker tried to block the or break the U.S. blockade and sail into, not out of, but into a Iranian port. The U.S. Said it tried to stop the ship multiple times, fired warning shots, and then had a F-35 or an F-15. I'm not sure which it was. Well, yeah, let's just say they took out the engine room and the steering compartment, and the ship was left floating. The Indian Coast Guard from the nation of India, they rescued, I think, 24 people that were on board, and that the ship was essentially free floating out in the Gulf. So, yeah. Oh, I'm just shocked. I'm just surprised. I just can't believe. Can you believe a House report finds that Minnesota officials, like senior officials in Waltz's office and Tim Ellison's office at the Attorney General, knew about systemic fraud concerns as early as 2019? Okay. We're supposed to believe that this is all just a surprise to Timmy and this Muslim fuck Tim, his attorney general. Okay, Keith Ellison. Okay, I'm sorry. I think they both should be in fucking prison for 50 plus years. Okay, if they go to say talk about some defendants use stolen taxpayer money to buy luxury goods. Others funneled proceeds to radical Islamic terrorist groups in Somalia. 300 million in child nutrition funds, yeah, SNAP program, and of course, feeding the children funds are at serious risk. Another 9 billion in Medicaid losses resulted in a broader fraud environment where state officials essentially said, "We can't say anything because if we say anything, we'll look racist." Bunch of chicken-hearted, chicken-shitted motherfuckers are afraid to fucking be called racist when the fucking numbers are right there in your face. Yeah. The fraudsters didn't just know how to exploit the system for financial gain. They knew how to blackmail state officials to keep their schemes going. The Department of Education tried to audit child care and nutrition programs. Providers accused them of racism. The accusation worked. Officials backed down despite holding evidence that the funds were fraudulently diverted. They have this anonymizer on the email addresses and the fucking bank accounts where where this money is sent, where these notices and stuff are sent. And they turned it on for a few minutes, and they had to, oh my fucking God, oh my God, I can't see, I'm blind. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's because they were sending money directly into foreign fucking bank accounts in fucking Somalia, in fucking Nigeria, in fucking, man, what, and that's just fucking horseshit. Millions of dollars in cash flying out of the airport in Minneapolis, too. I mean, get the fuck out of here. It wouldn't surprise me if all $39 trillion of debt that America has is all because of fraud. I think that every dollar can be traced back to fucking fraud. And whether it's HUD or the Pentagram, yeah, or the AKA, the War Department, you know, the strong arm of the New World Order, the World Economic Forum, the Rothschild bankster family. Yeah, you want to know who controls Donald Trump? Yeah, the Rothschild banker family got him by the sack of ball, by his little sack, man. I am telling you. It certainly does seem that way. And until Donald Trump essentially pulls the plug on these fucking bastards and takes them off life support, I won't believe a fucking word these people say. Yeah. The U.S. Army and the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, I would say, I would be emboldened to say every fucking government agency um, is cracking every piece of fucking technology that they have. Okay. Um, God, that's not what I wanted to see. So, you know, they're hacking and jacking and pulling apart all these different programs, all these different, and they're rebuilding, they're retooling all of the spy systems and all of the what would you call it, all of the grid into this massive um, attempt to hack everything and everybody. So yeah, Sam Bankman absolutely wants a presidential pardon. No. Yeah, he should go down and he should be over there with Ghislaine Maxwell. So yeah. Judge blocks Trump's $100,000 fee for the H-1B visas. The policy implementing the fee imposes a tax on H-1B petitions without the requisite delegation by Congress, the judge concluded. That's right. You can't have a tax without Congress's, oh, yeah, it's okay. Tax them, tax them. Yeah. So crazy. Crazies are a long ass line and waiting for people today. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. A new section, 1260H designations. The Pentagon names a number of companies that essentially Chinese companies that, listen, if you're a Chinese company, you work for the People's Party. You work for the fucking military. You work for the hive mind of the Chinese military civilian fusion strategy. Okay. So the Defense Department filed a major update on its list of Chinese military companies operating in the United States, formally naming or reaffirming high-profile firms such as Alibaba, Baidu, BYD, BGI Group, and Atool as companies linked to Beijing's military-industrial partnership. Okay. So understand that these companies are designated. Basically, they should be banned from many systems, but I would be willing to bet that they've infiltrated almost every, every tech company there is. We know that in Meta at Facebook itself, that there are entire departments where they hire Chinese peoples, and they minimize, the work done by American citizens. It is essentially, moles taking over these. Yeah, crazy. Whoa, what was that one? Where are we at? Oh, there it is. Huh. Let's see. An Apache helicopter shot down. Hmm. Going down over the Straits of Hormuz, the coast of Oman, an unprecedented first in the Iran war, they say. Well, I thought they said another helicopter was shot down. Where that airplane was. I mean, I'm just saying. The Iranians say they know what happened. They shot it down. The incident still shrouded in secrecy, as the Pentagon says, "Oh, something happened and it was an accident." The Army was anyway. It was shot down and destroyed by an RGC Navy in the Straits of Hormuz after ignoring warnings of targeted from by one of our speedboats. A speedboat with a 50 cal, maybe, but not too fucking likely. I'm just saying. The pair of pilots are now receiving medical care after they rescue. Dun 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 dun. Nobody injured. Going to be. I'm sure there'll be a flight report tomorrow. Hopefully, it was some kind of yeah. What do you call that? Malfunction. Netanyahu confirms Israel is holding fire right now. Rejects Iran's red line of not attacking Lebanon. And that should be one of the main questions: is why? Why does Israel have to continue to attack, and whether it's Hezbollah fighters or Iranians living in Lebanon? You have to ask, who is in the end, who is really keeping the war going, and who is profiting, and who is expanding their footprint in the war. It certainly is not Iran. It certainly is not Hezbollah, even though I think they would like to. I think Hezbollah and Iran and Islam in general is a big a bastard religion as Judaism is, as Jews are. Many people don't like that, but I can't support either one of the crazy clan bastards, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Not gonna either. Not planning to. Trump administration provided no defensive action for Israel amid the latest Iranian missile salvo. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll be honest with you, because the truth is, in all of this 100+ days of war with Iran, this is the first time that that Iranian missiles were targeted by Israel. Okay. The rest of the entire time, they let the U.S. use up its missile defense systems. So, yeah. Well, there it is, home to Diego Garcia military base, the Chagos Islands, were going to be turned over, or Britain had planned to turn them over to Marita, the island nations that own them. Okay. Well, Mauritius, I guess as you pronounce it. Anyway, yeah. Trump says, "I want to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I want to buy it. I want to buy Diego Garcia, the island, and everything." U.S. officials prepared proposals to bypass Britain and negotiate directly for control of Diego Garcia, the key Indian Ocean atoll that hosts a major UK US military base. The idea forms a broader options developed by the Trump administration as alternative to Keir Starmer's plan to cede the islands to Mauritius, which has close ties to China and Iran. Yeah, Diego Garcia's location makes it critical for long range operations, enables round the clock bomber missions, and, including strikes with B 2 stealth bombers and other places. And of course, it's a strategic location. So, anyway, Trump wants to buy it, and 35 billion euro pounds, $46.7 billion over 99 years. Yeah. Now, is that a lease or is that ownership? I'm just saying. I just think it's, it's going to come a time when the space-based platforms will, they will rule. They will rule across the oceans. That's what I'll say. Okay. That, while right now, air power is limited to, within the atmosphere, when space power is able to literally move and target any place on the planet, that will turn that will turn strategy. That will make a new high ground. Maybe that's the way I want to say it for a war. But yeah. Bankruptcy filings surge 7% year over year in May. February, the rate of inflation 2.4%. Yeah, sure, in your pants, which surged to 3.3% and then 3.8% in April. I would say it was 5% back in February, and then it surged, to 7 to 8%. And in April, it took another leap. It really did. It was 9 to 10% or more. I'm just saying, and it went up, and it's gonna bounce around, but that's because the money, the dollar, is worth less. Hey, Rev Radio got a break, so it looks like Rev Radio is on that break, and wow. Um, it is crazy. Oh, there it is, a dual wheel generator. Anyway, advertisements pop up all at the wrong time. So yeah, wow, it was too bad Trump went to that game last night, and the Knicks lost. I wish they'd have lost without having the excuse of Donald Trump being there. And so yeah, I mean, really. But it's just a major publicity thing. The other part of that is ICE. ICE itself is getting ready to make a big push. A big push into New York City, to be specific. Okay. Exactly how many riots and all this other stuff is that going to cause? I don't know. So yeah, it's not going to be well. Gee, here's Here's a heartwarming story from Belfast. Yeah, footage shows a man being pinned to the ground and stabbed several times in the face and the neck. Gee, it's a white guy, right? Somali man had been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after knife men appeared to attempted to behead a man in Belfast. Shoot the fucking cocksucker. Look, if they're sitting on the guy, they got the knife up like this. Look, you got a great chest shot. Execute the motherfucker. Kill him. Don't let him allow him to stab another day or stab another time. The suspect taken into custody after the victim in his 40s suffered significant injuries to his face and neck and back in what police described as a brutal attack. Shoot the motherfucker. Shoot the motherfucker. Here in the United States, they'd have lit this motherfucker up so fast he couldn't believe it. He says, don't come closer. I'll stab him. Boom, 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 boom. But the problem is, I mean, sometimes police officers in the United States can't shoot where the fuck. And, they're throwing lead just to, having somebody get the fibs factor. Fuck, I've been shot, fibs, fuck, I've been shot at. Not fibs, I've been shot, okay? Because there is a whatever. It looked like somebody attacked a guy with a fucking broom a wooden hurling stick. Oh yeah, I would bean off on that motherfucker's head. Yeah, I guess that's how the residents of the street knocked him out. I guess intervened in the attack. An onlooker appeared to hit the knife man with a wooden hurling stick. Yeah. Oh my God! The guy probably said he said something that I thought was racist. Yeah, I mean that the new the new excuse. I'm an asshole for you said something racist. You said something that hurt my feelings. You said I should wipe my ass and then lick my tongue or something. Yeah, I guess that's how Muslims wipe, isn't it? I really don't care to know. Okay. Yeah. So there's a big issue going on right now where evidently in some places in the United Kingdom, children are being bought into marriages. I don't want to say forced into marriages, and I don't want to say sold into marriages. They are bought into marriages. They're bought and sold like a slave. Okay. I don't believe that that's a British anything, historical anything British culture. Not that I'm aware of, where the Brits sell their children to dirty old fucking men for goats and chickens and probably cash today. Same way with here in the United States. If somebody does that, they need to be beat half to fucking death. Maybe nature will take its course the rest of the way. I don't know. But if you're marrying, if you're buying, if you're doing whatever to fucking children, I have zero fucking tolerance for pedophiles. I have zero fucking tolerance for people that are physically abusing, grooming, and whatever, doing nasty shit to fucking children. My feeling is you don't have a place on this fucking planet to breathe. Okay. Um, and maybe you could learn to have gills, but I still really, maybe you can learn to swim like a fish is in the sea or something. I don't know. But it's not going to end well if you're hurting children. Okay. So, yeah, this is the extreme violence the extreme culture of violence and privileged violence that these illegal immigrants and legal immigrants have brought to George Orwell's tampon strip, Keir Starmer's, licky lollipop strip. Fucking shit, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking shit. Okay. Keir Starmer's getting ready to kick in the digital ID for all the little British children. Yeah. Listen, I know one thing. You make it a challenge for kids to get around these digital safeguards for keeping children off the internet. Give me a fucking break. It's not going to work. It's going to keep innocent. It's going to keep how should I say it? It's only going to keep honest children or honest peoples or whatever off the internet, and it literally will turn all the other people into criminals. And of course, in the end, the other kids will join the criminals. They won't join your society of secrets and seduction and everything else. But yeah, it's well, let's just say it's crazy on steroids is where we are at and where we live today. Trump insists the U.S. in the final throes of the Iran deal. The death toll soars as Israel pounds South Lebanon. Oh, well, for 2 or 3 days. And yeah, just yesterday they said we stopped, we pulled back, we did this. I mean, listen, it's Trump stupid shit. He stuck his dick, the American wanker, into a fucking infected, sexually transmitted pus hole in the Middle East to fuck Israel to fuck with Israel's nasty friend or nasty enemy or whore friend or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Yeah. The only good thing is that this kind of, government sexually transmitted nastiness will fucking hasten this break, this fracture of this idea that Israel can do no wrong. Okay. That's the truth that's coming out. That Israel, while they have been genocided in the past, like many different peoples, they cannot use that as an excuse to commit genocide today. That's what we should be talking about. Donald Trump and the Republican Party, and in fact, I'm gonna try to get the Libertarian Party to come out with a statement. Um, a statement um, challenging President Trump to recognize and to work to free the 27 million plus people in the world that are considered slaves today in the modern slave system. Certainly, Democrats can't say much about that now, can they? You would think Democrats would want to stop all slavery, even that what's happening today. But remember, it's happening in Islamic countries. It's happening in places, in the Middle East that are supposed allies. That's all I'm saying. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why they won't. In fact, they probably won't too, because when you look at Israel and their apartheid style state, and understanding that they have essentially, they have their own slave class that they have allowed to live but are still second and third class the goyams in their cultures. So yeah, it's just fucked up. That's what I'll say. It's just severely fucked up. All right. Yeah. Meanwhile, God bless, man. Let me see, make sure I got what I got here. Okay. So, man, meanwhile, I have this tagged here, kind of provocative. Uh-oh, this page isn't available right now. They must have taken down that reel that I wanted to play. And I labeled it Hang Them High. So evidently, it was, you know, evidently it was pulled down by Facebook. Okay. Yeah, here's a good old JP. Yes, I like JP. And part one. We have to understand that the United States of America is a bought and sold prostituted entity. Yeah. It is true what JP's getting ready to say. And what the fuck is wrong with people? I don't know.
You might have noticed something drastic has changed. Many are waking up and seeing very clearly something like, well, this.
How much influence does Israel have on our country?
Israel's controlling our government.
Israel controls us.
Israel is in control of our government.
The government of Israel controls the United States.
Israel has run American foreign policy for 30 years.
It feels like we're just owned by Israel. We just never knew it.
Is the United States government now just taking edicts and orders from Israel?
Israel first.
Israel first.
Israel first.
This really is an Israel first administration.
Now, if you don't see that yet, I apologize for being so anti-Semitic. But back to reality for the adults in the room. Once people have woken up to what you just saw, many of them have been realizing this.
I do have a lot of uncomfort about America's relationship with Israel, the Israeli political leaders. That's what I mean. I believe that group it just feels like a satanic regime. It feels like they just want to cause pain.
Yeah. Most of Trump's now former supporters feel betrayed by him and have withdrawn their support. Hell, even the director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, has just resigned because, as he says, I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby.
True.
Yikes. Just to be specific, the drastic change in Trump has him making enemies out of his supporters, outcasting true America First patriots, while he endorses politicians and influencers that nobody in his former base. And if you haven't been paying attention, there are, in fact, one of two qualifications that a person has to meet for Trump to turn on them. Number one, call for justice and transparency with the Epstein files. Number two, choose America's interest over Israel's. By the way, many believe transparency with the Epstein files is compromising Israel's interests, so the two might be one and the same. For example, beloved.
Absolutely.
People that Trump has suddenly blackballed over this are people like Thomas Massey, whom everybody loves, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson, amongst others. In fact, dear Tucker has been so critical about the Israeli government that the CIA has now been spying on him and is rumored to be preparing a criminal referral.
Well, isn't that special? Look, if you don't understand what has been happening in this world, it hasn't just happened under Trump. It happened under Biden. It happened under Bush or Trump 1. It happened under 2 years, 2 administrations or 8 years of Obama. It happened under 8 years of, Georgie, little baby retard Georgie Bush. 8 years of the first rapist, William Jefferson Clinton. 4 years of the CIA New World Order overlord, H.W. Bush. We can continue to roll back the clock, and people should be able to do that themselves. So yeah, former Biden January 6th prosecutor, Act Blue funded firm, is now suing to stop Trump's um, UFC White House event. A federal lawsuit filed over the weekend to halt the UFC Freedom 250 event scheduled for June the 14th on the White House South Lawn. The suit was brought by the Public Integrity Project, which is funded in part by Act Blue, on behalf of two Virginia residents, and targets the Department of Interior and the National Park Service. The complaint alleges the violating a private sporting event on federal park land prohibited by National Park Service rules, constructing large temporary structure, the claw, without required congressional approval. Basically, Trump couldn't fix anything. But if you want to have a gay and lesbian bunny hop on the White House lawns, it appears, I guess you can. If you're, it's legal for your pages to turn their own pages over on the seats of congressional chairs and tables. Okay. I guess that's the first thing you need to do is whenever you walk into a congressional building is bring your own nasty wipes so you can wipe down the desk to make sure that the guy or his friends or whoever it wasn't butt fucking on it the night before. Yeah, that's the status of the federal government. Has it just turned into a bunch of butt fuckers? God, man, it's just unreal, man. Um, what else we got going on here? Bump, 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 bump. Yeah, here's from yesterday. Israel pauses Iran strikes. Yeah, we needed to bomb Lebanon first. Hold on. We'll get to you. Yeah, it's like expecting peace. I don't know what the hell's wrong with people. Let's see what else we got going on here. Bump, bump, bump up. Over half of mega Republicans say political violence can be justified. What do you mean by political violence? How about political self-defense? Can violence in self-defense, can that be? Is that okay? I think that's some of the things that people need to ask themselves. Okay. 1 in 3 Americans say violence is justified for at least one political goal, with MAGA voters most supportive. Oh, God. This is a national hit piece, right? 8,000 American adults surveyed, 35.6% say political violence is usually or always justified for at least one specific political goal. See, this is a study that is made to find characteristics within different groups of people, and to word it in a way. Yeah. So mega Republicans, number one, climbs 50%, 32.3% earlier. Yeah. Americans' willingness to personally commit and respond rejected it outright. Yeah. So dun 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 dun. Wow. So people that have been radicalized in the world that we're in, they will continue to be radicalized. Okay. White derangement syndrome will continue to replace and for a refocus of Trump derangement syndrome as Donald Trump leaves office. Listen, you have to understand all of this hate, all of this angst, all of this investment into hating Donald Trump. And what is the second pillar of hating Donald Trump? It's not because he's this conservative. It's because he's white. It's racism. Okay. This is why I see this latchkey type of a thing coming in right now, where the powers that should not be, the manipulators of the society and of the system right now, they're going to push hard to create this racist, this white derangement syndrome, where white people are guilty. It doesn't matter what is said. It doesn't matter what is done. If you do something to a white person, you get a lighter sentence. You might not even get charged with a crime. Okay. I'm just trying to point out that this is going to increase in the future. Okay. Because the power of that hate, particularly that political power of that hate, that has to be turned and weaponized into a direction. And the truth is that Democrats are really good. Are really good at directing political violence. Okay. So yeah, it is something that is going down. All right. I don't think that it's mega, so to speak. Okay. I think it's the left side of that system that is pushing the political violence, because the Southern Poverty Law Center. I mean, I want people to think about. I want them to think back and isolate in their minds about the so-called, right-wing riot in Charlottesville, Virginia, and understand the context of it all. The Southern Poverty Law Center, just like the bankers of the world, they funded both sides to be there to fight, so they could propagate a certain political idea and ideology where white people are the problem. That's all I'm trying to say. And using psychological weapons against unsuspecting schmucks. Because let's be honest, the average person is just a dumb fucking schmuck. I wish they weren't. I wish they had enough reasoning capacity to understand, how they're being played, why they're being played, and, the results of what happens as they're being played. But I just, it's it's just a sad state of madness, in all honesty. Okay. What else we got going on here? Bump, 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 bump. Russian drone shot down by the French military after entering NATO airspace. Well, that can easily happen. That can easily be done, particularly if you're trying to jam the directional systems of that drone. Evidently, a French jet shot it down, and residents eastern Latvia have been told to seek shelter indoors. Dun, 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 dun. The Latvian army said the drone had flown in the airspace at Russia's part of what described as Russian electromagnetic warfare. Yeah, electromagnetic warfare. Yes, that's probably what pushed it off of course. And if it pushed it off a course, then it was subject to what? That's right, some kind of um, counter battery type of operation by NATO that forced it off course. Okay. It's truly Russian madness, isn't it? Yeah. Trump administration launches its largest effort to denaturalize U.S. citizens. I think I said yesterday there are 17 people that are on the edge to be axed, okay, to have their U.S. citizenship stripped from them because they lied. You know, one guy was a rapist and he was waiting charges on rape, and he fled to the United States, and the the Biden administration. No, that was right. The Obama administration, number three. The CIA administration, number. Let me see. Number 7. Okay, or counter intel pro, 6.0 basically. Okay. Joe Biden was a puppet president of the intelligence services. His son was paid to shut the fuck up and just do whatever he did for Burisma. Joe Biden and his dad, Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden, essentially, partnered with the CIA while Joe was vice president and then president to literally to stuff the coffers of the Biden family trust funds. That's what this was all about. Okay, it's just money grubbing political bastards that, in the end, they sold themselves to Satan, the synagogue of Satan, and of course, the intel services. So yeah, this isn't even really news. You're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. The bottom of the barrel when Rosie O'Donnell reveals a secret facelift. I mean, you must have mistaken me for somebody who gives a fuck. Yeah, I don't care if she lies about it. I don't care if her fucking face sags to the floor. It's not going to fix that fucked up brain of hers. I mean, really. I think a lot of times because people are spending so much time in front of those super bright lights that are on most TV sets. Okay, halogen, hydrogen, halogen spotlights and such. Putting out massive amounts of electromagnetic waves and light waves all at the same time, and lots of heat. Okay. The truth is, I think that's one of the reasons that many or some Hollywood people get sick. They get neurological problems. I think that neurological problems kind of can come from the electromagnetic fields and from the waves and the light waves that they're in. Let's not forget that electromagnetic fields can split our genes should they be strong enough. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here. Pentagon. We talked about that. 6.4 earthquake off of Cuba. That's the size of that earthquake. I don't know if I mentioned the size, but yeah. Where else are we at here? Bump. Starmer poised to ban British children from using, social medias. Let's go see. I got all kinds of stuff, I think, left over from yesterday. So what else we got going on here? Ohio State reaches a settlement of $100 million with nearly 300 sex abuse survivors. Evidently, there was a guy that worked for the college that was, let's just say he was a rapey. He was raping and sexually assaulting students, and the Ohio State University buried the truth. Comes out after people's deaths. That's why I say, if if you feel you have secrets that you have to get out, put them on a USB drive and send them to me. And upon notice of your death, we'll put it all out to the world, and people can go, well, people are fucking nuts. That's all I'll say. They have lost their ever loving fucking mind. Okay? How do we know? How do we know that Democrats have lost their ever loving fucking mind? Now, this is just a short clip here. I'm not going to say it's real long, but Democrats and lawmakers are complaining about employers not providing enough paid leave for painful menstrual cycles for tranny fucking men. Okay. Really? Really? It's, what the fuck? Really? I mean, Democrats are worried about tranny men not having enough, well, leave time.
Are not providing paid leave for women on their periods. Also complaining, the male employees.
Yeah. The male employees want them gone. Look, if you're having 5 days of holy bodily hell, believe me, the rest of us in the office don't want to put up with it either. I'm just saying. Now, don't forget, Tampon Tim, he may join you, in his own, pasty, tomato pasty menstrual cycles. So yeah, that's another thing liberals are all about right now. I mean, they're all about it. Oh my God, have people lost their ever loving fucking mind? Really? Have they lost their ever loving fucking mind? I have to ask that question because, well, a lot of times I just don't think I just don't think they know. Okay. Meanwhile, 2020 election fraud is coming to a space near you. It doesn't matter what Democrats claim. We know today that the 2020 election was rigged. The question is who did it, and it's not. We know why they did it. They did it so the CIA agent puppet President Joe Biden could become president.
In the 2020 election, he said it would soon be revealed. Moreover, just a few months ago, the FBI raided the election offices in Georgia and confiscated documents and drives, a whole archive of information on the 2020 election. Tulsi Gabbard was spotted in the background, overseeing or at least witnessing the operation. For the left, this whole investigation into the 2020 election is both pointless and an outrage. But there's a bit of a contradiction here. If it's pointless, why be outraged? If there's nothing to find, why become so agitated over the Trump administration's wild goose chase? I think the answer is the left knows what's at stake. The dismissive tone on the left conceals fear that the investigation might produce definitive proof that 2020 was not, as the famous slogan went, quote, the most secure election in U.S. history. We're accustomed to dictators who rig elections in Russia, China, Venezuela. We're accustomed to Islamic theocracies, banana republics, and third world cesspools running bogus elections. But we're not accustomed to elections being stolen at the highest level, the level of the presidency in the birthplace of modern democracy, the United States of America. Recently,
boy, isn't that true? That's just, Dinesh D'Souza. Yeah, and that's just absolutely true. I mean, the American people just I think it's so big they don't believe that it can be rigged. And they think there's too many moving parts, when the truth is, you don't have to control all the moving parts. You just have to control a few areas. And you literally then use statistical gerrymandering to make the day yours. So yeah, the feds have launched a probe into California's elections. We supposed to be surprised? We supposed to be surprised? Well, I didn't think so. I thought everybody knew that, this shit that's coming to America is not good for America. Okay. A YouTuber and his wife ended their pregnancy after a Down syndrome gene diagnosis. They talked about the decision and blah, 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 but now they've become the target of death threats. People are chasing after them, basically, calling them, basically murdered their kid because they feared it was going to have autism, and they weren't sure how far on the spectrum of autism it might be. Yeah. So sheer crazy idiocracy. Marjorie Taylor Greene gets a prime time stem cell treatment in Mexico. I say prime time because while I was visiting my friend, it come across their TV screen talking about it. In fact, half of the stories that I talked about ended up coming across their screens, and I'm kind of chuckling to myself about it as I'm trying to explain to some of them what's going down. Anyway, it is idiocracy on steroids. And as Rich Barris says, nothing will change as long as you have the same leadership. This is why David Thune, this Thune guy, this is why they haven't gotten rid of him. He's like the Mitch McConnell motherfucker of today. And that's the truth. And, Chuck Schumer, he's like the fucking turd of the other side of the other day. I mean, these fossilized turds are what literally keeps the system, okay? Until we can change enough pieces of that system. And people aren't going to have to sit back and accept that their representative is being, basically almost kicked out of Congress because he's doing actually the right thing instead of enabling and extending and pretending the deep state corruption that is in the American government. Jerome Corsi over at usawatchdog.com says a Democrat election and voter fraud must be kept in check, and or there will be catastrophic losses in November midterm elections. Corsi contends Democrat voter fraud in America is legion, basically the enemy of the Constitution and the enemy of our freedoms. I think Spencer Pratt has a case right now under the Supreme Court decision. California is continuing to allow the votes to be counted is unconstitutional. It violates directly the Bost decision. Bost versus Illinois State Bureau of Board of Elections. They said they are still counting after election day. That's the truth, that the counting should have stopped after election day, according to recent Supreme Court decisions. Now the question is, will Pratt invoke that decision and sue the California Board of Elections, the state of California, of course, LA and its municipal electoral system, or whatever, how they have it, the wording of the departments. Democrats lost another fight recently with another Supreme Court decision on setting up congressional districts based on race alone, Corsi says. That's about the LA or Louisiana versus Calais decision. So yeah, what we see happening in California, if you apply this recent Supreme Court decision about counting ballots after Election Day, then the truth is that that all of the ballots that have been counted are invalid. Now the question is, will the question is whether the ballots that are gathered and then held in a secure warehouse. I guess the question would be: are those in the system and secured by the government and secured and not to stop any tampering that might withhold them, or does the day do they have to run the machines till they melt down, or does that have to happen for all the ballots to be counted within 24 hours within the election day? Okay, if that is the case, then California is in violation of Supreme Court orders, and these elections and primaries that they're doing, and the elections that they're in the process of doing, will not hold water at all. I personally, I don't believe in having a runoff system anyway, because that's the simple fact is that if you have multiple liberal candidates, conservatives can only really compete against them if they split their votes, and that itself, that splitting of that vote is something that, oh man, fucking right arm. Yeah, I hope I don't have a stroke. God, that would just be the last fucking thing I need, right? Yeah. So, in a country, Corsi says, in a country where you can't enforce the laws, you no longer have a country. I think Donald Trump is realizing this. Well, look, the law with the CIA and the FBI, none of those motherfuckers, it's lawlessness literally through the upper echelons of the U.S. government since when? Since 1960s? The federal government has essentially been lawless, has been outside the Constitution. And the truth is that there are hundreds, if not tens of thousands, of former U.S. government officials that need to be jacked the fuck up and sent to prison. If what we are seeing is true, if what we realize and what we know that under the Biden administration, that Obama was essentially, the president in drag, okay? If the Obama White House essentially partnered with the CIA and the deep state, and the CIA and the deep state essentially did what they wanted under Bush Jr., little Georgie Bush, and under Obama. The CIA, they did what they wanted because they had the power. They told Obama, go ahead with your social whatever program. We just, we want to do war. We want to do this. We got all these plans. We're going to do it. And they've done it. And now that people are understanding the consequences and the degradation of the Constitution and the unconstitutionality of what was done in the name of the people in America, from the bailouts to the bail-ins, to the bombing, to the overthrow of sovereign countries. Those are not things that the United States of America and the Constitution essentially The Constitution is built to stop America from becoming an empire. However, that has not stopped our politicians from essentially trying to turn us into an empire. The unfortunate parasitic truth of the world that we live in today. Okay. And I believe Jerome Corsi is 100% correct. Just as I believe that, that Donald Trump isn't standing up and calling for the end of worldwide slavery. I'm not talking about reparations. Let the greedy, grubby, grimy fuckers, Democrats in America scream about being, having reparations and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Because they built their own shit fucking style of culture. Yeah. But Donald Trump, call on him again to declare a war against worldwide slavery and to have full an action plan to target countries economically, not just, man, not just based on, Islamic law of allowing and selling and buying of slaves. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. Jerome Corsi is of gods5stones.com. I guess that's a book that he has just written and released. So, yeah, it's something that has to, that we have to ask and we have to understand. Once again, people don't understand how fucking poor they are because, well, they're so fucking poor now. And they don't understand money and they never will. I guess that's another reason why I spend my money as fast as I fucking can. I say that jokingly, but I do. I spend money pretty fast. Not as fast as I get it, but every month I try to make sure I drain my accounts down low. Because I'm doing stuff to help, to make a positive footprint. Okay. What people don't know is since lockdowns, the gross domestic product has lost 12%. Half of the US dollar's purchasing power was stolen. Do you think about what they're telling you? Half of the purchasing power of the dollar was stolen through inflation. They're saying that that inflation stole 50% of the purchasing power of the dollar in 3 years. How much was the destruction of the purchasing power of the dollar before that? And how much of the purchasing power of the dollar is estimated to have today? This is why I have said again and again and again, they cannot extend and pretend the dollar. Because sooner or later they will hit a 0.09 90 cents on a dollar. That's not even, how about 1.5 cents? If what they're saying is true in the headline, that the economic damage from the Great Reset, the industrial stoppages, the monetary printing, the supply chain disruptions, the extended and pretended, medical school closures, the general population essentially losing faith and hope in the future. Yeah. If that's true, anyway, they say a purchasing loss of 26% of purchasing power growth in output only, marginal improvements in real income. Understand that the U.S. dollar has been inflated or deflated into fucking next near nothingness now. It was 3 cents on the dollar before 2020. Remember, you have to kill it before you can reinvent it in a digital fashion. And then, of course, because you can't track all of the drug money, all of the terror money, all of this money. You have to have, this central bank digital currency blockchained directly to what? To your biometric ID. This is where all of this is going. But remember that the dollar must die. The system must completely crash. And those that have dimes and quarters will end up with the proverbial pennies that are left over, that are not printed anymore. This is about literally the crushing of an entire, the entire 2/3 of the people of the world. You have to crush the income, you crush the spirit, you crush the people, and then you lead them into a technological hell. That's what we're looking at. That's what our government is doing right now. It's not pretending. It's not trying. It is literally doing it right now today. So government itself, and I want you to understand, listen, I know you think many people think in the terms of the United States government controlling us right now. That's not even that's not true. Israel is just another piece of a pawn of the Rothschild bankster system. Okay. Now they're closer to top because, well, they have the pedigree, They have the pedigree because they're Jewish. That's part of the tribe. But please understand that this world, that your money is fake, phony, and fraudulent, okay? That is a depreciating asset Ponzi. And you're just waiting on somebody to pull the rug out from under you. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Until you owe the bank so much money that the bank would go down if they foreclosed on you, you don't have financial security. AI is coming along in the banking system, and all of the bean counters and all of the low-hanging fruit in offices and banks and stuff like that, you're gone. I'm just saying, as AI will blast through the secretarial marketing positions, banking positions, accounting and stuff like that. AI is going to wipe the slate clean, literally. Okay. And eliminate 90% of the jobs in those fields that humans do. That's just the first kind of little dinky wave. Okay. But understand that AI can also, help you spot trends, and AI can be your friend and AI will be your enemy. I imagine it will be both in the end. And the question is how you use it, or it uses you. And I think that goes to say with all technologies is whether you use those technologies, or do those technologies literally turn you into the product? So yeah, it is, well, sheer crazy. But never underestimate, the never underestimate the stupidity of people. I'm just saying, never underestimate the stupidity of ignorant motherfuckers. Okay. Here's one. A senator.
Should be unconstitutional. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking of astounding, your comments are astounding, Senator. You mentioned a few words, horrific. I think to the American taxpayer that's been ripped off by people who came to this country, to rip them off, that's horrific. You talk about bizarre. No, it's my time now. It's my time. You went over time. It's my time. Bizarre is the idea that you would be here in this committee defending violent murderers from being deported, that you would be defending violent rapists from being deported, that you would defend people who took advantage of the good people of this country, their taxpayer dollars. That is bizarre. A terrorist who kills American citizens, you know what's bizarre is your defense of that. So forgive me if your 24 million Americans should be, or naturalized citizens should be afraid. That's ridiculous. You have no. You have nothing but fear mongering here. What I'm saying in this bill is, if you do those things to the American people, if you take advantage of taxpayers, you're not recognized. If you commit a terrorist act, if you commit wholesale welfare fraud, within 10 years, you're damn right we're deporting you. If you're convicted, it's not being accused of anything. If you are convicted in a court of law of these crimes, absolutely we should not only convict you, but we should deport you. Gone. And if you think that's some sort of like negative assertion towards me, I'll take it. I love it. That's what we should be doing. An ROTC program in Virginia, killing a lieutenant colonel. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. This is just the absurdity. I actually think this is sort of a common sense solution here, but
listen, it's idiocracy. Okay. We all know that there's people that hate America, that come to America to rape, rob, pillage, and plunder America for everything they can while they can. It wouldn't surprise me if there's this secret idea, this idea that there are more of us than there are of them. If we have enough crazy people kill enough white people, we can literally, we can take over quicker. I know that sounds crazy, but it just seems with that throughout the world, with all of the attacks against whites, particularly against white people and white derangement syndrome that's going down, just seems like there's something wrong. And that's why I have to ask, is there a secret psychology of murder whitey and you can get away with it? That's why I said earlier, hey, that guy, but that wasn't in the United States. And if it was in the United States, they'd have lit the motherfucker up. A civilian would have lit the motherfucker up. You straddled across somebody with a knife coming up like this. Hey, shoot to kill. That's okay with me. The only way that the world has peace is if the bad people go to sleep forever. And, that's the unfortunate truth of the world that we live in and the world that we must exist in, that we must be able to defend ourselves and we must support peace and self-defense. We'll see you tonight with the Trump assassination files. God bless you. Good day. Good luck on Revolution Radio. Yeah, so we're out at Rev Radio. Let me get that microphone out the way. And but yeah, it is. It's just a lot of shit coming down. Atomic crab. What the hell is that one? I didn't see that one. Dow Jones hits a fresh all-time high. Bump. Yeah, the gambling markets are, this is another one of the ways that I look at inflation. Okay. The basic truth is the bigger the businesses get, the bigger the stock market gets, the higher the bigger everything goes, the bigger the bubble is, the more inflation we have, the worse it is for America and for the world. Okay. Because remember, we live in a bubble economy. They pump it up and they with everything they fucking can. And then when the bubble bursts, they use government, they use private sector money to stop the leakage of the bubble to maintain the bubble, and the rest of the economy kind of grows around the bubble, and it's supposed to absorb it, it's supposed to make it what do you call that, sustainable, and it never will. Bubble economies will always collapse because the underlying numbers will never appreciate. In other words, the incomes and other pieces of the economy will never gain enough strength to appreciate to the size of the bubbles that they are pushed into. And because of that, because of the way our bubble economy is made, we will never have stability. And because of that instability, they will always be able to maintain this psychological control of all of us. Yeah, we have to, I believe with Elon Musk, we have to break free. We have to get the fuck off this planet to have freedom. Anyway, we'll see you tonight. And thank you for all you do, because you change the world every day. God bless. Good day and good luck.